The power of the cell. The story so far, the cell is a vital part of the time web, an ancient computer that can detect where viruses are attacking the past. While Biff and Chip wait anciently in the time vault, the other children face extreme danger. Can they bring the cell safely back to Mortlock, the Time Guardian? Or will the virus get to it first? Chapter 1. Nadim and Wilma shot through the door of the circularium. They spun back through time. The doorway opened and Nadim was jawed to the ground. Wilma landed next to him. For a moment it looked as if someone else was going to follow them. But then the doorway vanished. Nadim and Wilma were in the narrow, unlit alley that went between tall buildings. They shivered in the freezing night air. They did not notice the shadowy figures watching them from a dark doorway. Wilma felt a deep chill. She wrapped her arms round her body. "We better find out where we are," she said. The alley led to a cobble street. Ahead was a warm glow of light. As they walked towards it, a figure looked at each other and nodded. The light came from a bookbinder's shop, full of leather-covered books. In a frame on the door was a newspaper. It said, "The London Gazette, 13th October 1805. Steam. It is the power of the future? Steam," chuckled Nadim. "Imagine if we had steam-powered computers." Suddenly his tone landed at Wilma's feet. It had been thrown from across the street. Out of the darkness, a woman stepped forward. "Over there," she hissed. "Be ready to run," whispered Nadim, as they crossed back towards the alley. "I saw you in the alley," the woman said. "I know why you are here." Wilma's mind raced. But had the woman seen? What did she know? But Wilma wasn't expecting that what woman said next. "Mortlock sent me to help you," continued the woman. "There isn't much time to explain." Nadim's chest tightened. He thought back to the time vault. Had Mortlock mentioned others being sent? The woman stepped closer. The air seemed to freeze. "We can't stay here," she said. "Crossing the road it is too dangerous." "What do you mean?" stuttered Wilma as they followed after her. "The varmints are close. If I saw you, they may have seen you too." The woman pushed open the door of the bookbinder's shop. "In here, and quickly," she urged. And as they went in, the woman turned and looked back to the dark alley. She nodded before closing the door. The figure moved from the shadows. He had understood her signal. Their plan was beginning to take shape. Chapter 2. The first thing they noticed in the shop was the smell. The air was thick with the smell of leather, glue, varnish, and smoke. There were books everywhere. Towards the back of the shop stood a large desk covered in tools, needles, threads, rolls of cloth, mallets, knives, and bottle of ink. A single lamp glowed dimly in the gloom. Nadim glanced nervously around. Through a door at the back of the shop, he could see what looked like a homemade laboratory. Above a large fireplace were shelves stacked with bottles and tubes, cylinders, coils of wire, and copper sheets. "What is this place?" murmured Wilma. "It's a safe place," breathed the woman. "For now." "Safe?" asked Wilma. How do you know? Who are you? The woman smiled. Morlock sent me to help you find the cell. It is a powerful magnet called a lodestone. It is very dangerous. It will react badly if it is put near certain things. I see, like electricity reacts badly with water, nodded Nadine. So have you find the cell? Asked Wilma. I am close to finding it, said the woman. But so are the Virons. She paused. The lamplight flickered in the cold air. She picked up a book. A boy called Michael works here. I think he knows where the cell is hidden. I have been watching him. So where is he? Asked Wilma. I lost sight of him this evening, said the woman. We may be too late. The Virons may already have him, and the cell. Suddenly, above their heads, they could hear the doll's thud of footsteps. Someone was coming down the stairs. Everyone froze. Virons? Hissed Wilma. Quiet, ordered the woman. Be ready. A figure entered the back room and began searching the laboratory. Why can't I find it? The figure muttered. Ah, here it is. The cell? Whispered Nadine. A figure lit a candle. It was a boy about Wilma's age. He was holding a large jar. The woman coughed gently. The boy spun around in surprise and dropped the jar, which smashed on the stone floor. I'm sorry, he stuttered. I thought I had closed the shop. He looked at the jar on the floor. You see, I like to experiment on my spare time. Anyway, can I help you? There's not much time, said the woman. Are you Michael? Michael Faraday? Do you know the name Mortlock? Wilma added. Michael gulped. Yes, I was asked to look after something for him, but there is no time for this, snapped the woman. Where have you put the cell? The Virons are close, and who knows what damage they could do with this power. I don't have it, Michael said quietly. My friend Tyler is hiding it for me. He added, I will take you to him. Suddenly the candles flickered and then died. Standing in the doorway was the shadowy figure from the alleyway. He thrust out a hand. Give, said the Viron. Run, shouted Michael. This way. Chapter 4. Kipper could remember going into the circularium and spinning back in time. But where was he now? He was lying on the bundle of rags. But other than that, he wasn't sure. A boy in a wheelchair was looking down at him. I'm Tyler, the boy said. Who are you? Where am I? murmured Kipper. There's a funny thing, said Tyler. 1 minute I'm working away on my printing press. Then the next, you're lying on the pile of rags. How did you just appear like that? Morlock sent me, said Kipper. Tyler's face went pale. Morlock? He gasped. I know about all that time warp stuff. My mate Faraday told me. Clever lad into science. He can work stuff out. He said if anyone mentioned Morlock, I had to tell him, and be quick sharp about it. Tyler wheeled himself across the room and pushed open the door. I'll get my coat, he said. Then we can go and find Faraday. Beyond the door was another large room. In the center of the room was a metal printing machine. On the floor was barrels of ink. Hanging from the ceiling was a heavy frame for drawing paper. Do you live here? asked Kipper. Live here, work here, said Tyler. I'm an orphan. Lucky I could read, so I got a job here. I make up a tray of words for each page we print. We even print illustrations using sheet of copper. That's how I know Faraday. I print pages, he binds them together into books. Suddenly, there was a noise from the street. Tyler crossed to the door and rushed Michael, Wilma, and Nadim. Nadim, Wilma, shouted Kipper. I am glad to see you. Shh, panned Michael. Virens. They'll hear us. We've just been chased by one. Oh no, said Wilma. Where's the woman? What if the Byron caught her? Wilma started for the door. We must go back, she cried. But to her relief, the woman appeared. I think we lost them. The woman gasped. But we must hurry. She looked at Michael. We need the cell, and quickly. Is it here? Michael looked at Tyler. Tyler nodded. Tyler broke open a barrel. He dipped his hand in and pulling up a heavy lump of metal, dripping with ink. I hid like you told me, Michael, he said. Nobody would think it wasn't here. The woman gave a wheezing laugh. Clever, she said. At the moment, the door crashed open. The Virens found us, shouted Nadim. The Viren gave a menacing snarl. Give, he rasped. At the same time, both Wilma and the woman lunged towards Tyler. The woman grabbed the cell. The woman smiled. It's mine, she whispered. Wilma looked at her, puzzled. What she saw made her gasp. The woman's eyes became cold and pale. Her freezing claw-like hand grabbing Wilma's shoulder, and she pushed her out of the way. Virens! Screamed Tyler. She's one of them. Chapter 5. So you're Murlocs too, New Hope? The woman laughed. It's almost too easy. She reached across to the printing press and picked up a page. They watched, horrified, as the word on the page disappeared under a black stain that spread from her fingers. We can destroy history as easily as I can destroy these words, she smirked. The man started to laugh. What fools you are! You'll never save history. We will destroy history and spread darkness. Without the cell you are finished. The woman turned. Tyler saw his chance. He kicked over a barrel of ink. The woman slipped on the thick black puddle that poured out of it. As she fell, the cell flew across the room. The cell landed in the box of copper printing sheets. Instantly, the whole box filled with a massive charge of power. The man scuttled towards the sparkling box. Without thinking, Nadim grabbed the rope tied to a hook. It was the rope that held up the large drawing frame above him. It fell with a crash, knocking the man to the floor. What fools you are! Shouted Nadim. For a second, all was still. All was silent, except for a crackling of strange colored sparks as the cell reacted with the copper. But then, to their horror, the woman slowly got to her feet. Is that the best you can do? She snapped. She walked over and greedily dived her hands into a fizzling box. Instantly, a ribbon of energy leaped across her body. Her human disguise melted away. She became a whirlwind of sparks. For a moment, the room was a storm of raw power. Then stillness. The cell rolled along the door. Faraday picked it up. Interesting, he muttered, handing it to Nadim. The doorway appeared. Nadim, Wilma, and Kipper knew what it was. They stepped into it. Suddenly, Kipper saw the Viren man and get up and move towards Tyler. "Tyler!" Kipper yelled, leaping out of the doorway. "Look out!" "Kipper!" yelled Wilma. "Come back!" Kipper looked back, but the doorway had gone. Nadim and Wilma had vanished.